know with us, it
No,
happens. They don't
you
know when it's
absolutely really good point. I'm glad that you mentioned that, and I am recording now. So good call. So let me read to you a little bit about like the niche that I'm honing in on, the pain points and like the conversation that I want to have today. So it's I help ambitious, heart-led creatives reimagine their next chapter by reconnecting to their authentic selves, gaining clarity, and finding the courage to creatively design a life they truly love living. And through soulful inquiry, intuitive coaching, and heart-centered tools, I guide them towards feeling joyfully aligned and fully expressed. Rooted in my own journey of choosing self-love, I serve as a mirror and sanctuary, and this as a spark for transformation. So she's in between what was and what's next. And it can look like either between relationships, career, life, moving, honestly, anything in transition.
yeah,
And that's something that I really relate to now, obviously, for obvious reasons.
right.
Um, and she's also just feeling like her current life no longer fits who she's becoming. And the pain points that I've established is feeling disconnected from herself and her joy, despite being viewed as successful by others, like on the outside appearing, oh, you got it all together, but on the inside feeling disconnected and unaligned,
Okay.
overwhelmed by the pressure to figure it all out. Understand that. Um, Doubts if it's okay to want more. Fears change required to get to alignment and joy and love,
Okay.
fulfillment, you name it. Creatively blocked, emotionally scattered, and longs to be fully seen and supported without judgment.
Okay.
Yeah, some deep stuff here, right? Deepest desires is to reconnect to her inner voice and uncover what truly matters to her. To feel confident in her choices, even when they don't make sense to others, and to create a life, career, love, expression that is joyfully aligned and deeply her own. So, that's I've been putting in a lot of work, as you can tell, to getting very clear and understanding who we're speaking to, what area she finds herself in her life. And one of the things that came up to me today that I want to have a conversation with you about is navigating those moments in your life where you find yourself in a place you didn't think you'd be in. Like,
Yeah.
damn, I never thought I'd be here, you know? And speaking to that.
Okay.
Um yeah, so I just want to hear what you're hearing, and I love the reaction I'm seeing on your face already.
So this is where I think I'm glad we're recording already, and I don't know if we're gonna have like a formal start, but like if you want to do a formal start of some kind, like I think we should
Do it
do that
now.
and jump right into it because I think there's going to be some great stuff that's going to come out organically that we aren't going to want to rehash if I
Got it.
say it right now.
Okay.
So that's my opinion.
So
If you're
let's get started. I want to
okay.
have a conversation about those moments in our life where we find ourselves in a place we never thought we'd be. Like, let me give you an example. I'm 34. I just moved out of Arizona back into my with my family in California. I never thought I'd be here. I'm leaving a marriage I never thought I'd leave, and now I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like it can be a very delicate situation to find myself in, unsure of how to navigate through those emotions, the actions and choices to take. And I'd love your input and take on this.
yeah. Well, my first thought is like the wild ride that emotions take you on,
Mm.
and so often
Oh,
unintentionally we judge that, right? Like sometimes it's our choice to go into this new area, this new unknown, and sometimes it's not. And either way, sometimes we judge it. Sometimes, we think we should be happy, we think we should be sad, but we're not. Like there's all kinds of a range of emotions that you're going to experience, and the judgment around those is where typically the problem lies. When we're judging how we're feeling, it's typically not serving us.
mm,
So a better question is like, what am I feeling right now? And just being present with that feeling, with those emotions, And you can ask yourself, why. I don't think why is a great question, because there's like a unlimited there's unlimited whys.
Yeah.
A better question is like, what can I learn about myself in this situation? what what is next for me? What are the opportunities that are going to arise out of the depths of where I'm feeling right now? This, maybe this is an unexpected change. Okay, but it's not permanent. And I'll share, for me, I went through two divorces, both of them not fun. uh, for me, I never thought that I would get divorced. And so there's something we can talk about later about the
Mm-hmm.
language that our brain creates belief systems around.
Mm.
So we can talk about that at another time. But with that, when you're like feeling the like the emotion, the overwhelming emotion that comes from that, like, it was easy for me to just, I literally felt like I was dead. Like, the
Yeah.
me that had been alive to that point just died, and I was kind of just going through motions, mostly because I had kids that I needed to take care of and financially
Yeah.
provide for, and try to still be connected to them, even though there was deep depression that I was going through. And there was a moment where I woke up and said, okay, but I'm not dead. And so if I'm not dead, that means I'm alive. If I'm alive, that means that there's options and there's choices and there's opportunities. If there's options and choices, that means I get to actually choose what's next. And I went through a whole rebirth process of, I don't even know who I am. And I had some codependence and stuff that I was unaware of. And
Right.
part of growing through that was, okay, so if I'm this person who's kind of a chameleon and can be everything to everybody, like, who am I at my core? Like, what is my character? Like, what are my traits? Like, what makes me a valuable person? And I honestly didn't know. And that was kind of terrifying too. And so maybe God, maybe just inspiration, whatever, something came over me and was like, okay, but you know what you admire about other people. So if you know what you admire about them, then you know what's really valuable to you. And maybe you aren't those things now, but you could become those things. And so I actually went through a list, and I know this is getting really deep in this one area, but I think it's relevant to whatever somebody's going through. If you're in that
Yeah.
transition point in your life and you don't really know what's next, look at it from like an outsider's perspective and say, like, okay, what does this person want in their life? This person being you. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what do I want to become? Oh, I like this trait in this guy. I like that guy. He does this and it makes people feel this way. And I like that. And I really clearly defined the things that I liked and admired about other men. And then I said, okay, I want to become that. And so I went through like hypnosis and different things to actually embody those types of behaviors till they became part of my character and part of my traits. And I think that's an opportunity when you find yourself in that transition. Who do you want to be? Like, what's it going to take for you to get to that next level, and get curious about that, and then move in the journey before you have the results. You get to embody those ways of being that will create those opportunities to have the life that you want.
Holy moly. I'm going to pause you there because that was just so much wisdom, so much insight. I want to work my way back and just kind of discuss and have a conversation about what you said.
Yeah.
And the judgment part. Um, I've worked so much on my own healing and understanding what my thoughts and my feelings communicate, and I still judge myself.
Mm.
Even through the growth, through the personal development, I still judge myself. I had this conversation with someone today of, man, I'm not where I thought I'd be. And I find myself even with myself of breaking my own word of tomorrow I'm going to wake up and do this and then I don't. And judging myself even with the small actions and choices. So I love that that's something that you presence of be mindful of where we're judging ourselves and what is something that you recommend we can speak to that part of ourselves when we are judging ourselves?
Okay. That's beautiful. And this is going to be huge for, I think, a lot of people. It was definitely huge for me.
Okay.
Typically, okay, so there's a difference between guilt and shame. I think everybody kind of knows that, but most people don't
Mhm.
really think about what that is. And
Okay.
guilt is when you've done something wrong. Like, guilt is the emotion. It's also the it is the judgment, right? Like, you
Yeah.
did something wrong, you're guilty of it. Just facts. Shame is I did something wrong. That means there's something wrong with me. I'm bad and wrong. And this is where we embody the shame. I don't live up to my word. I say I'm going to do stuff and then I don't do it. And those thoughts, that shame, that embodiment of shame, create a value system and create an identity that tie you to the shame. And then it causes you to repeat those behaviors because when you hear yourself say, I always say I'm going to do stuff and then I never do it,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually identity. That's the language of identity. That's not, I overslept today. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to make something new happen out of this. When we hear ourselves judge ourselves and we receive that judgment of like, oh, I'm this bad person, I'm this wrong person, I keep doing these things, we start to, our unconscious mind is always listening and we start to receive that as fact and as truth. And
Right.
then once we believe that about ourselves, then what do you think you're gonna do? If you're the type of person who keeps doing that thing, and you believe that about yourself, you're going to keep doing that thing more and more and more. And this is where shame is like a rubber band. Like no matter how much you run from the thing, if you identify from it, it's going to keep pulling you back to it. And so breaking that shame off is the key to creating different results. You can be guilty. You may have done that thing wrong. That
Right.
doesn't mean you are wrong.
Wow, that's so helpful in understanding the way that I'm a very visual person and I love putting a story to it so I can understand it. It feels like I'm walking through intense fog and I'm the one that's turning on the fog machine. I'm the one that's continuously pouring in the liquid that keeps the fog machine going. I plugged it in, I turned it on, and yet I'm walking in it like, oh no, there's so much fog, I can't see clearly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
doing that to
Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
And I think a really important thing to point out is that we do have a choice.
Yeah.
We have a choice in carrying that shame with us or facing it head on and saying, like, I forgive myself for the choices that I make, for the
Right.
guilt, and I'm choosing to move forward without that shame. Or even if it's with you, acknowledging it and not letting it shape and define who we choose to become.
Yes.
So
Yes.
as you were speaking, that's the visual
Yeah.
that
That's
came
beautiful.
to my mind of like, nah, I'm feeding the fog. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm in fog. I
Yeah.
can't see straight. So wonderful. That's amazing. And that to me just brings peace, I think. Hearing that, I'm like, oh, there's light. I get to be the one to turn off that fog machine
Yeah.
and bring a little bit more clarity into my life.
Yeah. I would say I love that visualization, and it's always us. Like we are the ones who. I'll tell more of the story about my divorces. Like I came to the awareness that like I either married two crazy women, or I attracted two crazy women, or I created two crazy women.
Mm,
Either way, this guy was involved in all of that, right? Like most likely they weren't crazy, and I did some things to bring crazy out of them, but that's on me. Like I get to look at what's within me that's creating these results in my life. I can't just point the finger at them and they're completely at fault. I'm at least responsible for half of that. And so doing that work was pivotal. What I'll say is, and I kind of alluded this in the last statement, the self-aware person, the truly self-aware person is paying attention to every thought that they think that starts with I or I am.
hmm
Whatever you follow those words with, catch yourself. Like catch yourself, hear yourself, because your brain just thinks thoughts. It's just a thought making machine. You're not your brain. It's an organ that produces thoughts.
Right.
You, the higher version of you, can actually hear yourself think. And so sometimes you'll just be like, I don't know, on this train of thought, and then you're like, wait a second, why am I thinking these thoughts? That's the higher version of you analyzing the organ version of you that's thinking.
Right.
And the higher version of you needs to be on guard, self-aware of what is my brain thinking about me? What does it follow I am or I'm with? Because whatever we put after that is painting a picture of what our future is going to look like.
Right. So what are some of the things that you tell yourself that really help you create the Angus that you are, who you present, who you choose to be every single day, continuously in your life.
Yeah. So as a couple, like some a viewpoint of my old version and my new version, I
Mhm.
used to say to myself, and I didn't even know consciously because I wasn't aware of it, that I believed that I would always be a disappointment.
Wow.
I, like at my core, just had enough experiences in my life that I took those experiences and like boiled them down to I just always disappoint people. I'm just a disappointment. I will always disappoint people. And when you think about that over and over and over, because you're meditating on previous experiences in your life, whatever you boil that down to be, you've distilled all these circumstances into this nugget of truth. And I use that word carefully because it is somewhat true, but it's not overarchingly true. But if you believe it, then it's going to create results like it is true. And
Right.
so that was like the old version of me. That was like a core belief system that I believed I would always be a disappointment. Now I'm so much more than that. And that's a question I would pose to anyone is like, aren't you more than that? Like
Yeah.
whatever it is that you believe about yourself, aren't you more than that? Because I would argue that no matter what you believe about yourself and how much you try to distill yourself down, you're more than that. And there's always opportunities for new results. And you and I have had wonderful conversations over the years, and you have helped me see things about myself that I was believing. You were instrumental in helping me transition from somebody who was occasionally coaching people but didn't actually believe that I was a coach
Hmm.
because I didn't have that identity that I believed I was. I had nuggets of wisdom, and I used to call myself an accumulator or an aggregator of wisdom, but it wasn't my wisdom. It was like I was always borrowing from other people's wisdom, and I could share great wisdom with you, but it's not mine. Like I'm
Right.
not wise. Like that was an identity thing also. Like I didn't believe I was wise. And so those were things that I had to become aware of that I believed about myself and start allowing change to happen so that I could get different results.
I remember that day. It's a core memory in my mind of we established an inside joke then of like the big foam finger and being bonked on the head by a massive foam finger, and like what do I need to do to get it in your head that you're wise? And it was bonk. And but see, that also opened up something for me as well. It was, and it kind of ties back to what you were saying of finding men in your life or around you, men that existed, and qualities of theirs that you admired, and embodying that within yourself as well. And seeing your wisdom and hearing the amazing golden nuggets that would come from you. And I'm like, how do you not see how wise you are? And I also, within me, it opened up how I am able to identify those in people, and when I show up, when I use my words and my love, that it does make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that being said, when I think back to finding yourself in a situation you didn't think you'd be in, and the judgment that we get to work through, the stories we tell ourselves, like when you were talking about how you thought you would always be a disappointment. I think jokingly I used to say, "Oh, I'm such a mess. I'm such a mess." And really I would see the proof of that in my life.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
clumsy, and if I would leave my shoes on the ground, I'd trip over them. And
Yeah.
not only was my office a mess, my home was a mess, my mind was a mess. And I kept jokingly saying like, "Oh my God, I'm such a mess." And I would see the evidence of that
Right.
everywhere in my life. And it wasn't
Yeah.
until I actually chose to slow down, to start meditating, to start listening to the thoughts in my mind, that I was like, "Oh, I'm a mess because I'm telling myself that." And
Yeah.
I can choose to slow the F down and start sorting through the thoughts,
Yeah.
and asking myself, is this real or is it not real? Is
Right.
this an old belief? And if it's old, is it serving me now? Am I still choosing to put the liquid into the fog machine, or am I choosing to say no more?
Yeah. It's beautiful
So
because you found
yeah.
that curiosity, right? Like instead of just being in the mess of it, and it's like, wait a second, I'm pulling myself out of this to observe. Oh, what am I doing to create this? Like you did that. That your higher self did that for you, pulled you out of that old way of thinking, that old way of being that was creating those results to allow you to get different results. And it's that we all have that in us. It's just some of us are less aware of it than others. Like we don't have that relationship with our higher self to move out of our thinking machine, our brain, the like the PC that sometimes has viruses and glitches and stuff inside of our head, to the highest version of you that like can see, oh, we got to do some cleanup in here. And
Mhm.
I'll say, I love that I love that we have self-deprecating humor. I actually think self-deprecating humor is one of the funniest forms of comedy. It's also a real power. It's a weapon
Oh
that
yeah.
if you're able to make fun of yourself, then when other people do, it doesn't bother you, right? Like
Hmm.
you can make fun of yourself.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it can start to be believed and it can create those results. And so I do it all the time, but I have a relationship with my unconscious mind. And so I will literally, after I make a joke, even if I don't say it out loud, I will say to myself, just kidding, unconscious mind, like, that's a joke. Like, don't take that seriously. That's not the direction we're going. It was just a joke. It ends there. But if you don't, like, when you consistently say, you consistently hear at the unconscious level, and those things start to play on a loop, and all of a sudden, that is your life.
And that's so true. Even now, like when I close my business, I'm starting a new one. I'm going through such transition in my life that I find myself saying, ah, panic. I don't know what I'm doing. And when I keep saying, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing, it feels like I'm honestly invalidating myself because I do know what I'm doing. And sometimes I don't like it's hard choices.
Yeah.
There are things that are tough to do, and there are actions and choices I never thought I'd have to make. And
Right.
so when I'm saying I don't know what I'm doing, I feel in my body discomfort because I feel like it's not actually in alignment with my higher self because I do know what I'm doing. And sometimes it's just riding the wave of life of like, well, I'm trying to fight the ocean. I want to go in this direction, but the ocean's powerful and it's taking me in this direction of surrendering and saying, no, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And and I can feel that alignment in my body, even though sometimes I'm like sweaty and gross and I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous, I'm uncomfortable. But I think the bigger discomfort is staying misaligned, staying
Mhm.
in a place where I know I'm not happy
Right.
or I'm feeling discomfort. And I know that, I mean, with two divorces and I have, my one now, I'm sure there were moments in your life where you experienced that misalignment, discomfort, or just knew a change needed to happen.
Yeah.
How did you experience that and how did you feel that? How did you know something needs to change?
Well, uh, for me, I am, and it's funny. My name is Angus, and that's a breed of cattle. And from a mentality standpoint, like I kind of have this like cattle, stubborn, like workhorse mentality. And so like I will put my head down and just pull the hoe and make a row for as long as it needs to go, right? Like I just know how to plow. So for me, a lot of times I'm not even aware that I'm in discomfort because I'm just kind of that workhorse. And all of a sudden something will happen and be like, you're out of row. Like this is ended. Now you don't have a choice. You get to do something else because this is over. So I may be different from a lot of people because I don't necessarily, I'm not the one who's like kind of always looking for like what am I feeling? Should I make a shift? It's like this
Hmm.
is what we said we're gonna do, and we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I would say that a lot of that is like masculine energy. So for men, we are doers, right? Like and a lot of women, and I'll just put a little plug in here. My partner and I, we do lifelong love coaching. So we help people find and create those great relationships. But most of our clients that are women who they've they've believed the promise of feminism And feminism, all feminism is teaching women how to act and operate and think in their masculine energy. That's all it is. It's
Mhm.
just doing energy. And so many of our clients don't know how to get out of their head and into their body and like actually feel and be present and be okay just being them. It's
Yeah.
like if they're not doing something, if they're not serving something, if they're not growing something, if they're not creating something, if they're not powerful in all these ways, then they're not worthy of any love or attention or affection or anything because they're not doing something. And when she learns how to get out of her head and into her body, it opens up a whole different world and she attracts a different type of man. And I'm going to bring this around to your question. I think sometimes I'm just so much in my head that I also get to go into my feminine and see like what feels right. Like what's the
Right.
next move for me? What's the direction that I at my core need to go? Not what do I think is the right thing? Not what's the logical thing? Because there's lots of great business ideas or lots of logical things of the next thing to do, but like the core of me, where does it want to go? What does it want out of this life? What does it want out of these relationships? Or and so checking in with your body. And I actually think moving from the different energies, from the masculine energy to the feminine energy on a regular basis, especially if you're a person who works at a job site or something like that, in the morning before you go in, do some meditating, bring yourself into your body at lunch. Instead of thinking about all the things you need to do, go in and feel what you want to be feeling. Check in with yourself at the end of the day. Can you do something to get out of the doing? And I love the expression that one of my favorite authors and coaches talks about. She's like, can you hang up your balls at the end of the day? Like when you come in the house, can you hang them up and quit doing and just be happy with yourself? And so for me, I also get to check in with like what is the right move for me. And that's a powerful way, I think, for you to shift out of just thinking and logic and into what is the core of you really want.
Wow. There was so much that you said that not only lands with me, but I feel like will really help and guide a lot of people through that. I'm such an ideal client of yours in the sense of I have been a high achieving woman my whole life.
Yep.
I'm the oldest of four. I am first gen American. So I had a lot of expectations from society, from my parents, from religion, from myself, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
And as a high achieving successful woman, when I chose to close my business, I hit a low depression and I remember thinking, who am I now? What now that I just closed my business and it was for me to down to just be a relaxed woman. Who is that? Who is she? I don't know her.
Right.
Like I used to see femininity as girliness. Oh, I like doing my nails and flowers in my hair. And I really didn't understand the being in my masculine energy and being in my feminine energy. And the difference that I experience as a woman being in those two different dynamic energies. And they coexist within all of us, of course, and understanding that but and that was a big low point for me of thinking like, oh my God, my husband's going to leave me now because what value do I bring? Who am I now without this? And that was just me with my business. The same. Who am I now that I'm getting divorced? Who am I now that I live in a new place? And it's a true practice for me, and I know for a lot of women too, slow down, to be present in our bodies. The moment for me I knew a change needed to happen is when I achieved the version of success that I created in college. And I moved into my brand new home. We had the dream car. My business was thriving and successful. And I had a real come to Jesus moment of, ooh, the things that I thought I wanted don't make me happy. I'm not happy. I have this gorgeous, beautiful home. I'm not happy. I have this cool new car. Not happy. I have this successful business, and I'm not happy. And that really led to this journey of reconnection to myself, of really getting honest with myself and realize that the version of success that I was chasing, that masculine energy that I was in of do, be, achieve, 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 wasn't making me happy. I wasn't fulfilled.
Yeah.
I really missed slowing down, being engaging in my passions, experiencing softness. And that, I mean, it's a tough part to experience and to be in. And
Yeah.
that led to a lot of really hard choices that I got to make, to decide to
Yeah.
stop pouring in the liquid into the fog machine,
Yeah.
and getting really honest with myself about what truly mattered. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting because you spend a lot of time in your head, and I do as well. And I know that I'm much more in touch with my emotions. And I'm
Right.
curious now to see what it is that they're communicating, because they're information. That's how
Yeah.
I see that. Like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. What's that about? What is it
Yeah.
communicating to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I want to just clarify something because sometimes I get accused of things I didn't say and don't believe. I don't believe that feminine energy has anything to do with your nails done, dressing
Right.
cute, like makeup, anything. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. It literally is the being energy, and can you be present with that? And so I would ask you this question.
Hmm.
Do you think that part of the reason that you got to that like end of yourself with your previous business was due to the fact that you didn't bring balance and harmony into your energies? Like you were so much in the masculine and never allowed yourself to really be in the feminine, that I believe that that may have caused your burnout. What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. My new definition of success is balance.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you say that, because I absolutely was complete when you talked about thinking, you feeling like you were dead. it
Yeah.
it felt like that for me. I felt like I died, like my soul died, and the only reason I knew that I was alive is because I had the opportunity to slow down. I sat down at my piano and I was playing music, and that's when I felt alive. I got to sit and express my passions. I got to be creative.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, like, oh my God, whoa, I am alive.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
I was totally out of balance. I
Yeah.
was so in the doing, and I grew resentful of my success. Like, do you know how hard that is to build a big, thriving, gorgeous, successful business and then resent it for the success brought business, it brought in opportunities, and it just meant I was busy, 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 doing. I didn't have the time to sit down to learn how to garden, to play the piano, to read a book, to, I don't know, run through meadows and play in the forest. Like, those are things that I enjoy doing, that feel like softness to me. I feel
Yeah.
connected to the earth, and I didn't have time for that. Agree that what led to the burnout was balance with myself.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of inner work and clarity and honesty to redefine what success means to me. And it is balance. I'm balanced, and I'm doing work that I enjoy doing. I'm with people that I enjoy being with, and I get to express my femininity outside of just being a girly girl.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of practice, and it took an interesting relationship in my life to experience what that softness is like. And now I'm like, ooh, I'm never going back to I'm never going back to being out of balance.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I want to say something that my own little definition of what it looks like to have that balance between, for myself, this is just for myself, but having the balance between my feminine energy and my masculine energy, that's sexy to me.
Mm.
That's what I call being in my sexy energy, where I can have the power, the ambition, the courage of the masculine energy, that drive, and I have the softness, the slowness. I'm intentional with my movement. I'm nurturing and my feminine energy, and that to me is like the balance of sexy energy.
Okay. I I love this. We need to go deeper on this because I want to talk to you about this because I actually think that that can be what we call chaos for your partner.
Ah,
So
okay.
let's dive into that. But I love what you just shared. And I love that you're finding this new harmony, this new balance, and just the joy that's coming with that. So I think we should kind of wrap up today, and let's jump into this, go a little deeper on this in the next call.
Yeah, awesome. Let's do that for sure.
Awesome, awesome. I've really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to continue this series with you.
Oh, absolutely. Me too. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for your insight, for your vulnerability, and for sharing yourself, because I know that there's a lot here that you have to say that is going to impact so many. So thank you.
No, likewise, likewise. I can't wait to continue this journey with you and help the women that are on your heart and that connect with you. They're on my heart too, and hope to help them have and create an amazing journey. All right, bye.
Okay. I'm going to hit end recording on this one so that we can have a second one.
I am gonna